What just happened at the Stellar Gospel Music Awards 2025 has everyone talking. Jamal Roberts and Jonathan McReynolds took the stage in a way that shocked the audience, set social media on fire, and left fans questioning whether this was the boldest performance of the night or the most controversial moment in gospel music this year. What went down was bigger than just a duet, and the ripple effects are already being felt across the industry. The Stellar Gospel Music Awards have always been more than a celebration of talent. They are the one night where gospel music collides with culture, faith, and raw performance power, creating moments that echo far beyond the stage. Every year greatness is expected, but once in a while something happens that completely flips the script, and in 2025 that moment arrived when Jamal Roberts and Jonathan McReynolds joined forces. Jamal Roberts has been on the rise, quickly building a name for himself with his unique style, authenticity, and fearless approach to gospel music. Jonathan McReynolds, on the other hand, is no stranger to the spotlight. He is a Stellar Awards veteran known for his soulful vocals and thought-provoking lyrics that often blur the line between traditional gospel and contemporary artistry. When these two artists came together, no one could have predicted the energy, the reaction, or the controversy that followed. The performance didn't just earn applause, it sparked conversations, debates, and backlash. Some fans hailed it as a groundbreaking collaboration that could push gospel into a new era, while others raised concerns that it crossed boundaries, challenged long-held traditions, or stirred tension within the gospel community. Behind the lights, cameras, and cheers, deeper layers of the story began to emerge. Questions surfaced about what was really happening on stage, why the performance stood out so dramatically, and what it meant for the future of both artists. This moment wasn't just a recap-worthy performance. It felt like a turning point, one that may have altered the trajectory of gospel music itself. To understand the full impact, it's essential to understand who Jamal Roberts is and why his presence on that stage mattered so much. Jamal Roberts is not simply another newcomer trying to break into the gospel industry. He represents a new wave of gospel artists who blend authenticity, cultural relevance, and a bold willingness to speak truth, even when it challenges tradition. Born and raised in the church, Jamal's roots in gospel run deep. Faith and music were central to his upbringing, and his earliest memories include singing in youth choirs and watching seasoned gospel musicians transform worship services through music. Rather than rising slowly through background roles, Jamal carved his own lane through viral performances and independent releases that resonated strongly with young audiences and industry insiders alike. Social media became his platform, and his live sessions on Instagram and YouTube quickly circulated, not just because of his voice, but because of his message. Jamal's lyrics often address real-world struggles, identity, faith during hard times, cultural issues, and the silent battles people fight behind closed doors. By 2023, he was already being recognized as one of gospel music's rising stars. His EPs gained traction, his collaborations hinted at something bigger, and his live performances proved he was more than hype. By 2025, his name symbolized a voice poised to help carry gospel into its next era. Jamal represents a generation that refuses to separate faith from transparency, blending worship with honesty about struggle and doubt. While this approach resonates deeply with younger audiences, it has also drawn criticism from traditionalists who question whether his style pushes gospel too far toward contemporary genres like R&B or soul. Supporters argue that this evolution is exactly what gospel needs to remain relevant. When Jamal stepped onto the Stellar Awards stage, it wasn't just another performance slot. It was a statement of recognition from the industry itself, acknowledging his influence and momentum. What amplified the moment even further was the person standing beside him. If Jamal represents the bold future of gospel, Jonathan McReynolds represents its trusted present. Jonathan's career has been built on sincerity, theological depth, and a balance of vulnerability and conviction. Since releasing his debut album Life Music in 2012, he has earned a reputation as one of gospel's most thoughtful storytellers, favoring simplicity and honesty over flash and excess. Jonathan's music often feels like personal reflection, with songs that challenge listeners to examine their faith and humanity. While his acoustic, singer-songwriter style has sometimes been criticized as too contemporary for traditional gospel audiences, many see him as a bridge between church and culture. He has managed to gain respect across generations, performing on major stages while maintaining credibility within gospel spaces. That balance is rare, and it's precisely why his partnership with Jamal Roberts carried such weight. Together, they symbolized a generational handshake, signaling a potential shift in gospel culture. The controversy deepened because some questioned whether Jonathan should align himself with someone as bold and unpredictable as Jamal. Others saw it as a powerful endorsement of gospel's need to evolve. Jonathan's presence didn't just validate Jamal, it amplified him, signaling that Jamal was not merely a rising star, but an artist the gospel establishment must take seriously. When the performance began, the atmosphere in the room shifted instantly. Jonathan opened with his signature intimate style, seated with his guitar, creating a reflective, worshipful mood. Then Jamal entered with commanding presence, bold attire, and intense energy that transformed the atmosphere from quiet meditation into something electric. The contrast between Jonathan's grounded delivery and Jamal's passionate vocals created a dynamic clash that held the audience captive. Visual effects and modern backdrops added to the intensity, making the performance feel more like a mainstream awards show than a traditional gospel stage. The turning point came when they introduced an extended, improvised bridge. Jamal led with raw, emotional spoken-word declarations about struggle, redemption, and breaking chains, while Jonathan responded with gentle, scripture-infused lines that anchored the moment spiritually. What unfolded felt less like a rehearsed performance and more like a real-time spiritual confrontation. Audience reactions were sharply divided. Some stood, clapped, and shouted in praise, while others remained seated, visibly uncomfortable. Cameras captured a range of expressions, from tears and approval to disapproval and shock. When Jamal directly addressed the gospel industry during his spoken-word moment, calling for authenticity and freedom from silencing new voices, the room split even further. Jonathan's decision to lean in and musically support Jamal felt like a clear cosign, intensifying both the applause and the backlash. The standing ovation that followed was filled with admiration, confusion, and tension all at once. Within minutes, clips of the performance flooded social media platforms, sparking heated debates. Words like revolutionary, anointed, controversial, and out of line dominated comment sections. Some praised the moment as a necessary evolution, comparing Jamal's boldness to earlier trailblazers who once challenged gospel norms. Others criticized it as disrespectful, arguing that the Stellas should remain a place of reverence rather than experimentation. Rumors soon followed that parts of the performance, including the extended bridge and spoken-word segment, may not have been fully approved by producers, suggesting that Jamal and Jonathan may have gone off-script live on television. As days passed, think pieces and commentary continued to pour in. Supporters called the performance a prophetic disruption, uncomfortable but necessary for growth. Critics warned that theatrics were overshadowing ministry. The clash of perspectives exposed a long-standing generational divide within gospel music, the tension between preserving tradition and embracing evolution. Behind the scenes, reports of heated backstage conversations only fueled the narrative further. Regardless of where opinions landed, one thing became clear. This was not just another awards show moment. It was a cultural flashpoint that forced gospel music to confront its future, and the echoes of that night are likely to be felt for years to come.